Old predictions about Bitcoin hitting that $100,000 mark.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Today, we're going to explore two articles.
Okay.
Bitcoin climbs closer to $100,000 on Trump's support for crypto. From BNN Bloomberg by Sunil Jagtiani.
Okay.
And a CNN business analysis by Allison Morrow. Titled, Trump's Commerce Secretary Pick is a Crypto Booster with ties to one of the industry's most controversial players.
Interesting.
To see if we can kind of understand what's driving this surge.
It's pretty wild when you think about Trump's previous stance on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Do you remember back when he called it a scam?
I do.
And now it looks like his administration might be a game changer for the entire crypto world.
Talk about a plot twist.
Right.
It's like overnight, the crypto market is experiencing this massive surge. Bloomberg reporting a gain of nearly $900 billion since Trump's election on November 5th.
Wow.
That's like adding an entire Swiss economy to the market in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's
What do you make of this sudden shift?
I think it's pretty clear that this rally is fueled by optimism surrounding Trump's current pro-crypto stance. And the fact that there are discussions about creating a dedicated White House position for digital asset policy.
Right.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It signals a potential shift in the U.S. government's approach to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And suggests a real possibility of favorable regulations down the line.
That would be a pretty significant move.
Definitely.
I'm curious, though, about the talk of Bitcoin hitting $100,000. Is that just hype, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely a psychological barrier, but it's more than just hype.
Okay.
Reaching that six-figure mark would be a major victory for those who see Bitcoin as a legitimate store of value.
Right.
Bloomberg quotes analyst Tony Sycamore, who describes the current market as buyers strangling the sellers.
Wow.
Which paints a pretty vivid picture of the current buying frenzy.
I like that imagery, buyers strangling the sellers.
Yeah.
But even with all this excitement, there are voices of caution out there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Billionaire Michael Novogratz, for instance, has warned about a massive $10 billion Bitcoin sell wall.
Okay.
Essentially, this means that a large number of sellers are waiting to offload their Bitcoin at a specific price, which could create resistance as the price tries to climb higher. So it's not a guaranteed upward trajectory.
So it's kind of like a tug of war.
Yeah.
With the buyers pushing the price up.
Right.
And a potential wall of sellers waiting to cash in.
Exactly.
What does this mean for the average investor trying to make sense of all of this?
It highlights the importance of understanding the dynamics of the market. A sell wall isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is something to be aware of. It means that there are investors who believe Bitcoin's price might not go much higher.
Right.
And are ready to sell at a certain point.
Okay.
It's a good reminder that significant Bitcoin purchases are also happening. So there are definitely conflicting forces at play.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and roses in Bitcoin land.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the specific things Trump has said about crypto.
Okay.
During his campaign, he talked about creating a supportive regulatory framework for crypto in the U.S.
Right.
And even hinted at building a strategic Bitcoin stockpile.
Wow.
How realistic are these promises? And do you think he'll actually follow through?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The timeline and feasibility of such a stockpile are definitely uncertain, especially when you remember that Trump was quite skeptical of crypto not too long ago.
Right.
Bloomberg even points out that his change of heart coincided with heavy campaign spending by digital asset firms.
Oh, wow.
So the influence of lobbying is something we need to consider. Yeah.
When trying to predict his actions.
It's interesting how campaign promises can sometimes shift once someone is in office.
Yeah.
And speaking of shifts, let's not forget the 2022 crypto market crash.
Right.
And the subsequent fallout from platforms like FTX.
Yeah.
That was a pretty sobering experience for a lot of investors.
It was.
How do you think that event shapes the current landscape?
Well.
And what role might the SEC play in this new era?
The 2022 crash was definitely a turning point for the industry. It exposed a lot of scams and risky practices, leading to a crackdown by the SEC. However, The general expectation is that enforcement will be more relaxed under a Trump administration.
Okay.
This could be a double-edged sword,
Right.
attracting more investment,
Yeah.
but potentially also leaving the door open for more bad actors.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a delicate balancing act
Yeah.
between fostering innovation and protecting investors.
So we've got Trump potentially embracing crypto on one hand.
And the shadow of the 2022 crash on the other.
Right.
It's quite a complex picture.
Yeah.
And then you throw in this controversial figure, Howard Lutnick, who is Trump's pick for Commerce Secretary.
Okay.
The CNN article we're looking at really delves into his connection to Tether,
Right.
a company that's been making waves in the crypto world.
Yes. Lutnick's involvement with Tether adds another layer of intrigue to this whole story.
Yeah.
Now, for those who might not be familiar, Tether is the company behind Tether,
Okay.
a stablecoin that's pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Okay.
Essentially, it acts as a digital U.S. dollar within the crypto ecosystem.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Stablecoins like Tether provide a sense of stability in the otherwise volatile world of cryptocurrency.
Right.
But I understand there's quite a bit of controversy surrounding Tether, right?
That's putting it mildly.
Okay.
There have been long-standing concerns about the transparency of Tether's reserves and whether they actually hold enough U.S. dollars to back all the Tethers in circulation.
Oh, wow.
It's essentially like an unregulated offshore bank operating in the wild west of crypto.
And if I remember correctly, they've had some run-ins with authorities in the past, haven't they?
Yes. In 2021, Tether settled with New York authorities for $61 million because they misrepresented the assets backing their stablecoin.
Right.
That raised some serious red flags about their credibility and stability.
So we have Trump's Commerce Secretary pick, Howard Lutnick, who is a strong supporter of this company that has a questionable track record.
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting juxtaposition, wouldn't you say?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
The CNN article highlights how Lutnick has personally defended Tether, claiming to have seen their reserves.
Okay.
And believing in their solvency.
Wow.
He's essentially putting his reputation on the line for them.
Now that is intriguing.
Yeah.
What do you think Lutnick sees that others don't? Is he truly convinced of Tether's legitimacy, or is there something else at play here?
Right.
We'll explore those questions in just a bit.
Sounds good. It's a gamble.
It really is.
Lutnick betting on Tether like that
Yes.
makes you wonder about the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Is this a sign that the Trump administration might overlook some of the less savory aspects of the crypto world in the name of progress?
Yeah, it does raise some concerns, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If Lutnick, with all his experience in traditional finance, is willing to vouch for Tether despite its past controversies, what does that tell us about the administration's priorities? Could investor protection take a back seat to fostering innovation? That's a thought that should give any investor pause. What do you think is the right approach here? Is there a middle ground?
I think finding that balance is key.
Yeah.
Too much regulation could stifle the growth and potential of the crypto industry. But too little could lead to exactly what we saw in 2022. Widespread fraud and market instability.
Right.
And remember, this industry is still in its early stages, evolving rapidly. The challenge for regulators is to find a framework that can adapt to these changes while also protecting investors.
It's like walking a tightrope.
It is.
You mentioned that Lutnick is a seasoned financier, so maybe, just maybe, he sees something in Tether that others are missing.
It's possible.
Yeah. Could it be that he's genuinely convinced by their claims of transparency and the legitimacy of their reserves?
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
Or perhaps he's drawn to the potential of stablecoins like Tether to revolutionize the financial system.
Okay.
A stablecoin pegged to the U.S. dollar could offer faster, cheaper transactions globally and increase access to financial services for people who are currently excluded from traditional banking.
Those are some pretty compelling arguments.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you have those who view Tether as a ticking time bomb, a potential catalyst for another crypto crash.
Right.
So how do we reconcile these vastly different perspectives?
Wow.
What should listeners take away from all of this?
I think the truth likely lies somewhere in the middle. Tether, like many things in the crypto world, comes with both risks and potential rewards.
Yeah.
It's important for investors to understand both sides of the coin, so to speak.
Right.
What's crucial is for individuals to stay informed, do their own research, and not get swept up in the hype or the fear.
That's great advice for navigating this complex landscape.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Tether, but let's zoom out a bit.
Okay.
and consider the broader implications of Trump's return to the White House.
Sure.
How might this impact the crypto world in the long run? What are the potential upsides and downsides we need to be aware of?
Well, on the positive side, a more relaxed regulatory environment under Trump could lead to a surge in innovation and investment in the crypto space. This could potentially pave the way for wider adoption of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology,
Okay.
leading to groundbreaking applications in various industries.
Right.
Imagine faster, more secure transactions,
Uh,
greater financial inclusion for those currently excluded from traditional systems,
right.
even new ways to invest and manage our assets.
So it's like unlocking a whole new world of possibilities.
It is.
Paying for your morning coffee with Bitcoin.
Right.
Sending money to family overseas instantly with minimal fees.
Exactly.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
The potential is certainly there,
Yeah.
but we also need to be realistic about the downsides.
Right.
If the crypto market experiences another major crash or becomes riddled with scams, it could have devastating consequences for people who have invested their savings.
Right. It's important to remember that this is still a relatively new and volatile market.
Yes.
Investing in crypto is not for the faint of heart.
It's not?
You need to be prepared for the ups and downs.
Exactly. It's a high-risk, high-reward landscape.
Yeah.
And educating yourself about the risks is crucial before making any investment decisions.
Right.
But even beyond the financial aspects, there are geopolitical implications to consider.
Oh, yeah?
If the U.S. starts stockpiling Bitcoin, as Trump has suggested,
Yeah.
it could challenge the dominance of the U.S. dollar and potentially disrupt the global financial system.
Whoa, that's a pretty big what if.
It is.
It's like something out of a science fiction movie where Bitcoin becomes the new global reserve currency.
It's a scenario that some predict,
Yeah.
though it's still highly speculative at this point.
Okay.
But it does raise fascinating questions about the future of money and power in a world where cryptocurrencies are playing an increasingly important role.
Okay, so we've got this incredible potential for progress and innovation,
All right.
but also these very real risks and uncertainties.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're on the edge of a completely new era. But whether it's a golden age or a chaotic free-for-all remains to be seen.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
We're entering uncharted territory here, and the relationship between politics and the crypto world is still evolving rapidly.
Right.
The choices made by governments and regulators will have a profound impact on how this all plays out.
Yeah.
And we need to stay vigilant, informed, and prepared for both the opportunities and the challenges that lie ahead.
It's almost like embarking on a grand adventure.
Yeah.
But with real-world consequences.
Right.
We need to keep our wits about us and be ready for anything.
Exactly. And maybe the most crucial question we need to ask ourselves is this. Will Trump's second presidency usher in a new era of prosperity for the crypto world? Or will it face unforeseen challenges that could derail its progress?
That's a cliffhanger if I ever heard one.
It is.
It seems like the entire crypto community is holding its breath, waiting to see how this story unfolds.
It's a story that's still being written.
Yeah.
And I, for one, am eager to see what the next chapter holds.
Me too.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with speculation, let's remind our listeners of the sources we've been discussing today.
Okay.
We have Bitcoin climbs closer to $100,000 on Trump's support for crypto.
Yeah.
From BNN Bloomberg by Sunil Jartiani.
Right.
And Trump's Commerce Secretary pick is a crypto booster with ties to one of the industry's most controversial players. A CNN business analysis by Alison Morrow.
Yeah.
These articles offer valuable insights and different perspectives on this rapidly evolving landscape, and we encourage everyone to check them out.
They're definitely worth a read for anyone interested in diving deeper into this fascinating topic.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring, stay informed, and form your own opinions about the future of crypto in this new political era.
Now, circling back to Howard Lutnick and Tether,
Yeah.
it really does make you wonder, is he blinded by his belief in the company?
Yeah.
Or is he privy to information that the public is not?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it goes to the heart of a much larger issue, one that plagues not just the crypto world, but many aspects of our lives.
Right.
The question of trust.
Right.
Who do we believe and why?
It's a question worth pondering,
Yeah.
especially as we navigate this new world where technology is rapidly evolving and disrupting traditional systems of power and finance. We need to develop a discerning eye, a healthy skepticism, and a willingness to challenge assumptions.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We can't just blindly accept information, even if it comes from seemingly credible sources.
Right.
We need to ask questions, look for evidence, and be willing to change our minds when presented with new information.
Precisely, and that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just about Bitcoin or Trump or Tether.
Right.
It's about the changing nature of truth, trust, and how we make sense of a world that's increasingly complex and unpredictable.
It's a journey of exploration and discovery, and we're all figuring it out as we go.
Indeed, and who knows what unexpected twists and turns lie ahead.
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. This is going to be an interesting ride.
Yeah, it's kind of a paradox, isn't it? We're
Mhm.
talking about a technology that's designed to be decentralized,
Yeah.
transparent, and trustless,
Right.
and yet the human element keeps creeping in.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We can create these sophisticated systems and algorithms,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's people who are making the decisions,
Right.
investing the money and shaping the direction of this industry.
Exactly.
And people are, well, unpredictable.
Precisely, and that's what makes this such a fascinating area to observe.
Yeah.
It's a constant interplay between technology and human behavior, between innovation and regulation, between risk and reward.
So where do we go from here? What should our listeners be paying attention to as this story unfolds?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious
Okay.
and keep asking questions. Don't just accept what you read or hear at face value. Even if it comes from seemingly reputable sources,
Right.
dig deeper,
Yeah.
challenge assumptions, and try to understand the motivations behind the information being presented.
It's like we're all detectives in a way, trying to piece together the clues
Yeah,
and figure out what's really going on.
exactly. And as with any good mystery, there are bound to be twists and turns along the way.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the decisions made by governments and regulators,
Right.
the actions of major players in the industry, and the overall sentiment in the market. These are all indicators of where things might be headed.
And of course, keep an eye on that Bitcoin price. Will it break through that $100,000 ceiling, or will it come crashing down?
That's the question on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fascinating ride and one that we'll continue to explore together on future episodes.
Well said. And to our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring this complex and ever-changing world of cryptocurrency. Do your research, stay informed, and most importantly, don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Absolutely. As we've seen today, there are many different perspectives on this topic. And it's important to hear them all before forming your own conclusions.
And with that, I think it's time to wrap up this episode.
Okay,
We've covered a lot of ground today,
we have.
exploring the intersection of Bitcoin, politics, and the ever-evolving crypto landscape.
Right.
We've looked at the potential benefits and risks of this emerging technology, and we've delved into some of the controversies surrounding key players like Tether and Howard Lutnick.
It's been a thought-provoking discussion.
It has.
And we hope it's given our listeners a deeper understanding of the complexities and nuances of this fascinating topic.
A huge thank you to Sunil Jagtiani of BNN Bloomberg and Allison Morrow from CNN Business for their insightful reporting.
Yeah.
Their articles provided the foundation for today's discussion, and we encourage our listeners to check them out for a more in-depth look at these issues.
We also want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We appreciate your time, your attention, and your willingness to engage in these important conversations.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.